true one, the true being, Sat Purush, Purna Brahm. There are a few traditions in the world which recognize the true one. While many others seek for the true one, however, they come halfway or close by, but not all the way. The true one was not born, was not created, and is not dependent on creation. For creation is his dream. Every soul in the heart of it, in the essence, has a drop of Sat Purush. Therefore, every soul is also eternal. However, what the mind attains all the wisdom that it may gain, the mind merges into various fields of light. Ultimately, they will not last. In human concepts, we think of decades, centuries, millennia, which are very short periods of time comparing to yugas and cycles of yugas. So what is the true eternity and true infinity? For the sky may seem to be infinite, having no end, neither the space may seem infinite. Our universe seems to be infinite, lasting forever, billions of years. However, it will also pass, it will also disintegrate. The true one is formless, and what we are dealing primarily are various forms, objects, and beings. So humanity is mainly concerned with God in the sky, cosmic gods and goddesses, mythological beings such as Greek gods or Egyptian gods, Hindu deities, Buddhist deities, uniting Shiva and Shakti, reaching Brahma consciousness, realizing the self, noticing awareness, worshipping Krishna, praying to Buddha for good fortune and merits. These spiritual paths are necessary and they guide the seekers to Anda, Brahmanda. Very lucky few who get to Par Brahmanda. But who has spoken of the true one? Who has seen the truly infinite and truly eternal one? There are only very few paths in the world who know this deepest secret. In the West and Middle East, the origins primarily are in the Middle East, in the ancient Gnostic tradition. Knowing that the true one existed, always was, always is, and always will be. And there was a fall from grace. In the Gnostic tradition, it is the goddess Sophia which eagerly wanted to have an offspring in the celestial realms. However, she didn't receive a permission, and she attempted to do it by herself, and she gave birth to the fallen being called Yaldabaoth, who looks like half lion and half reptile, who is the ruler of our universe, of material creation. And we find exactly the same story in the East, particularly in Anurag Sagar, where Sant Kabir describes exactly parallel, same story from the true abode, Sat Purush, how God Kal fell from grace and created the material universes of duality, Brahmandas, and how he made deceptions to keep the souls within his realm. Well, the story is shocking, though it is vital, because that gives us a clear background of what we're dealing with, so that we're no longer lost in the spiritual wonderland, energetic amusements, so that we're not wooed by the appearing deities, because human life is short. We've got only 80 years on average in this form, and if a beautiful deity woos you into their lap, they will keep you for yugas. They will keep your soul for thousands, billions of years. So we have to figure out what's going on really fast, and we have to do something about it, because the clock is ticking, not in the favor of the soul. And time is very convenient And this earth is even more convenient for the rulers of this creation, because time resets everything. A rebirth is a reset. You wipe the memory out and you're born again with zero knowledge. You start from zero again. If we had 10,000 years, we could take it easier, a bit slower. Well, we got 80 years at most, 90 perhaps, if you are lucky with your health. Very few make it to 100. So we need to act fast. We don't have much time to do things that will get us nowhere. And this is why Sat Purush sends advanced souls, master souls, into creation to bring home those who are ready, those who have eyes to see. And thus the life of Kabir in Kali Yuga is a great example how he was opposed both by Muslims and Hindus. They tried to get rid of him. Don't speak the truth. It's not convenient. Does it sound similar here on earth? How the truth speakers get thrown in jail? It's happening today still, very common. So therefore beings, the divine beings, they speak the truth as it is, not as you want it to be. Not what will draw the largest amounts of followers. For that purpose, we have all celebrities on TV. But the truth speakers are few, and those who recognize the deepest truth are also few. Even on the advanced spiritual path, many prefer to stay in their loving heart chakra. They prefer to stay in the peaceful beingness. I just like to be in my cozy energy field. I just like to negate. I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm nothing. Or they like to abide in their cherished, blissful state, intermediary light. So even those souls are lost, for they will need many more ages to be ready for the deeper truth, not what's convenient or lovely. However, when we escape the traps, when we arrive at least to Par Brahmanda, we can take a little break. We can have a fresh breath, because in Par Brahmanda your soul is no longer captured. Karma still exists. That is still not the liberation, ultimate one, but at least there are no intentional traps. no more the games of duality. So humanity has seen quite a good number of real gurus. Of various traditions, such as Rishi Mahesh Yogi describing the higher states of consciousness, Adida Samraj, who guided student seekers in a more non-dual way, Ramana Maharshi pointing to the heart on the right, where the abode of the self is, not in the awareness. So he spoke from a deeper place. Many other gurus have come and went who helped the souls to the beyond duality and beyond the traps to the Par-Brahmanda region. And then there are even fewer ones who have helped the souls to return to the true home, which is the abode of Sat Purush, the true being. And the nature of true being is ocean of love, ocean of bliss, ocean of absolute goodness, mercy, and grace, endless divine light and sound. It's where the soul is finally at rest, where the soul is finally at rest, not the mind, not the stillness of the mind, not your attention merged into something, some altered state, where the soul is finally at rest. If we look at the teachings and if we read the poems and the sayings and the teachings of Kabir, we will find a very straightforward bluntness, speaking things how they are and not caring for what others think or believe into. There are other beings, for example, from the Middle East traditions, from the Gnostic tradition, which then followed into a path of Mendeans. And their primary Sadguru was St. John the Baptist, who was the guru, we may say, or who initiated Jesus the Christ, literally in the literal river of Jordan, which symbolically means the divine light sound stream. So they kept the ancient literal initiation. This is the true origin of teachings of the Christ. And if we look at Jesus, who is also a divine master, he clearly described the abode of the true Father, the omnipresence of the Holy Spirit, which in other words, the true Father is Sat Purush, The Holy Spirit is divine light sound stream, and He is the Son, and the Christ is the living Sadguru, a living master who is here to help, to liberate the souls, to wash away the sins, in other words, karma. Mandaeans still exist, but in very small amounts because they were persecuted largely in the Middle East. Gnostic tradition is mainly a myth left, what's left of it. And therefore, primarily in the East, in India, the traditions were kept of the divine light sound stream and guiding the souls back home. When we come to the abode of Sat Purush, we need to balance the karmic accounts. We need to clear the karma for the soul and for the spirit. Now, teachings of the soul are more available, but knowledge of the spirit is even less known. The abode of the spirit, the primary abode of the spirit, is the heart on the right, the Amrita Nadi. So therefore, it is primarily the mystical Sufi tradition which knows of the unstruck sound, the Guru Nanak and the Sikh tradition who practice the Naam, Kabir Panth, who preserved the teachings of Kabir, and Sant Mat, which became a branch dating to origins through Kabir and some of the branches from Guru Nanak as well. So we do not find many ways to go back home. There aren't many, but luckily they exist. Even the word divine is misused so much because in the lowest tradition, anyone who experiences any kind of light and love, they already call it divine. In the Brahmanda traditions, all the yogis who practice yoga, Brahmanda yoga lineages, they call everything divine. In Par-Brahmanda, Krishnaists have many divine heavens. Buddhists have pure lands of Buddha. But these are mirrors of divine. They're flavors and mirrors within the creation. And with grace, you have experienced tastes of divine in the higher regions. However, it is important that you know that there is infinitely more. It is important to know that the truest experience of divine comes when you complete your karma all the way. And it blasts you with so much power and so much light that very, very few have tasted the fullness of the divine. As Guru Nanak described when Kabir took him to Satlok, he recognized that that is the ultimate one. And then he saw that Kabir was sitting on a throne, you may say, as completely one as Sat Purush. Guru Nanak, the founder of the Sikh religion, received initiation to the Shabd, and through the lineage of other 9 gurus, thus the Sikh religion was established. So on the way to full consciousness, and as we do all the practices and meditations, you're getting flavors of the divine. You're beginning to familiarize. But the fullness of divine comes true when your karma is complete. The fullness of Sat Purush is truly beyond words. And within the divine abode, there are multiple divine paths. Now we have covered the path to the abode of Sat Purush, and now I will elaborate on what is actually there. So the Santmat and Sikh tradition, they know that there are 4 regions of divine. Sachkhand. Meher Baba has elaborated also in more detail from Sufi, mystical Sufi tradition, how they perceive the abodes of God. So within the divine, there are actually also different paths. So we could say Santmat Sikh is one path, and therefore we can rise with the spirit and the soul. We can rise to the origin, Anami Lok, which is the very origin of the divine light sound stream. There is a secret way how to go even beyond the origin of the spirit. So equally so, there are other divine paths which have a distinct divine flavors. Now, how do I describe that? One of the great beings, Saint Germain, is a master of two divine lineages. However, I can see what he is doing there, but in his teachings, nothing is spoken of his activities in the regions of God, because humanity wasn't ready. He is a very wise being, the Chohan of the seventh ray, the ascended master Saint Germain. So he embodied the qualities of the God's individuation, and he brought the teachings of the I am presence for the sake of the future of humanity. There is a series of his teachings, the teachings of I am, and I'm presence. And he works hand in hand with his best friend, Jesus the Christ. So there is a story that how the royal artist, a royal painter who would only be hired by the royals of Europe. I believe these were French royals at that time. So he was extremely the most credible painter at that era in the world. And he started to receive visions of the face of Jesus. And first he thought, I'm not so religious at first. He's an artist. He was Christian, but not that religious one. So he tried to forget about those visions of Jesus. Because if he goes on and tells everybody, I saw Jesus, his career would be jeopardized. But these visions were persistent and they kept coming back to him. And he started seeing extreme details of the face of Jesus, the hairlines, facial lines, even mustache and beard. And it just kept persisting. And he then knew that he just has to draw it because these visions were not going away. And he started drawing the face of Jesus. Then he was receiving visions of Saint Germain as well. And he put them together in the same portrait, in the same picture that he drew. And when he was complete, he saw one more vision of the lines of the lips and the mustache that he had to fix it. So when he made the final touches, fixing the exact lines of the lips and mustache, the vision's finished. And there is a picture of this portrait available. So Jesus the Christ embodied the path of the Christ, the Holy Spirit and the True One. His true teachings are extremely rare, extremely rare, his true teachings. In the Bible you will not find much. And the path of Jesus, Holy Spirit and the True Father is one of the divine paths. but you will not find the ways, any real practices in the mainstream Christianity. When the divine opened up for my soul, first and foremost, Kabir appeared. And he said I was all along here. And when I settled as a soul more into the divine region, suddenly vast wealth of divine vidya, vast wealth of divine knowledge poured through. The divine light and sound is information, it's energy, it is knowledge. So therefore, as it was pouring through, then all the dots connected of what's going on in Parbrahmanda, in Brahmanda, in all the other regions. A little portion of this divine knowledge, divine vidya, is available in my latest book, Divine Soul Liberation and Divine Cosmology. But there is so much more that in this lifetime it's impossible to put it into books. It's impossible for anyone to put in any lifetimes into books. And due to my psychic abilities, I started to see more clearly all the things that are going on in the divine regions. The divine masters who are sent down to the creation, like in Parbrahmanda, they are the most respected beings. In this universe, Brahmanda, they are more like secret agents. In the movies, you see the secret agents, how they infiltrate the evil organization and they try to rescue somebody captured, hostages. So pretty much this universe, not this planet, this universe is like that. The souls are captured and divine masters come here very ready, very prepared what's gonna happen. And somebody asked me, if the divine masters are so advanced, then why do they suffer? Why did Jesus have to suffer so much? Why did Kabir was also persecuted, had to run, and they tried to assassinate him on multiple occasions? Well, it's because this world is not the true abode. This world is ruled by the unjust one. And this answers the biggest question, why there is injustice, why there is suffering, why God doesn't solve everything. Because this creation, this universe is like that. It's made of polarity, duality. So divine vidya is a very vast wealth, a treasure. Kabir has a book called the Bijak of Kabir, which means the treasure of Kabir. and the ultimate treasure and the ultimate success, the ultimate freedom is returning back to the true one. As the Sikhs call it, Ik Onkar, the one God. And there is nothing to judge. It's important to understand, because even this realm of Maya, it has a purpose. Because ultimately no soul is truly lost. There will be a time when each soul who is ready will receive help. It has a purpose. There is a reason. From the eyes of Sat Purush, even this Brahmanda, even Lord Brahm or Kal Niranjan, is not going to last long from his eyes, from the divine eyes. Well, a few yugas, a few cycles of yugas, a few quadrillion years will pass. It's not a big deal. It was an interesting experiment after all. This is how, from the eyes of Sat Purush, you see things. You have to really forget the human perspective. You have to even forget the perspective of the soul, which struggles age after age. And when you see from the eyes of Sat Purush, well, that was an interesting dream. This was an interesting experience for everybody. And these souls who have went through this experience, because not all souls choose to have this experience, well, these souls are amazing. And here you are, one of those souls. Because when you work through it all, and when you finally return to Sat Purush, you will be like an honored veteran, beaten through every bush, tested time after time, fooled in every possible way. Because the souls in Par Brahmanda, many of them, they don't dare to come here. This is way too crazy. So there are those souls who are stronger and they choose willingly to come here. However, there are other souls who are brought into Brahmanda. We may say that they didn't choose consciously this place, but they were brought into Brahmanda. And they go through all these cycles until they get in touch with the grace of the divine light sound stream. And then after millions and billions of years, they come to Par Brahmanda. They might stick there for many yugas. Until then, they will figure out their way all the way back home. But all of you are here, those crazy ones, the brave ones. So when you come back to Sat Purush, there are two also primary choices. One is, let's just make it easy, I'm sick and tired of it. I just want liberation and that's it. And the other one is a bit more complicated. It's the path of liberation and mastery. And that's where you need to pass more tests and receive more training. But then you attain the grace, the powers to help others. So the real powers, the real siddhis are not lifting your bum from the floor. The real siddhis are not burying yourself and see how long you will keep without breathing. The real siddhis are not to stop your heart and show that you have attained the control of your physical body. Who cares? It will go away anyways. It's equal to a gymnast. It's equal to a weightlifter, a martial artist who just gained the skills of the physicality. The true siddhis are not even reading past lives. Many psychics can do that. Reading minds. Many psychics can do that. So when you look at the yogis, especially in India, you can see that suddenly they're very important because they can stop their heart, because some yogi can not eat for a few years. Yes, it's amazing because there is a certain skill that they developed. But from the eyes of Sat Purush, it's just the same as a good gymnast, a good weightlifter, a good singer, a certain proficiency in Pinda or Anda. From the eyes of Sat Purush, these are toys for children. So what are the real powers? The real powers are assisting the souls to clear karma and liberate from all the traps set forth, all the camping zones of nice spots, to guide the souls back home. So therefore, seeing from the eyes of divine is a very different deal, is a very different perspective than the mainstream spirituality. It's a very different perspective from the Brahmanda matters, cosmic matters. I can see what these gods and goddesses are up to. They're managing their creation. Creation is part of them. They're bonded in the creation. Because Shiva is everywhere. Brahma and Vishnu is everywhere. Every goddess is everywhere because they are the Brahmanda. Their energy, their atoms are infused in Brahmanda. But these powers in Brahmanda are their limitations. And as long as this universe will last, they are not free. And only when this universe will finish, in the dissolution, then they can decide if they want to continue into another creation, or after settling all the accounts of karma, they will be ready for a higher abode. So therefore, from the eyes of the True One, there is this clarity of what's really going on, of what is really what. This clarity is extremely important, because then we are no longer fooled, we're no longer wooed, we no longer subscribe. So flipping the coin, I will ask you now, what are you supporting? And what is God to you? What is the source to you? What is this ultimate to you? And what are you supporting day to day and on your spiritual path? So when I ask people, what do you truly want? And they will say, I just want peace. Well, go to the mountain, you will find it there. Go away from people, you will find more peace. I just want love because my boyfriend didn't love me enough. My family, my mother, father were this and that, and now I need love. Or I love this heart chakra, and I just want more and more. And I just want to be in the careless bliss. I want to be like that Indian yogi sitting under the tree, lost somewhere. Probably he knows God. And then you have a lot of images of what it's supposed to be like. You have many pictures in your subconscious, at the back of your head, as we say. At the back of your subconscious, unconscious, you have these pictures and images. Or you've seen the statues of Krishna and all the gold and flowers and oh, that's God. But also Krishna tradition depicts the other aspect of Krishna, the dark Krishna. Have you seen that? So there is duality everywhere, even in this room, hot and cold. And as long as you're subject to your five senses, you will struggle. So let us contemplate. What is God to me? What is the ultimate one to me? And the higher light or sound, it's the same thing. This higher light or sound, it becomes more and more subtle. And I want you to become more subtle. Because as always, the most gross is the most obvious. The noise is always obvious and the silence is ignored. Objects are obvious and the space is ignored. So the same way, even when you experience something beautiful like love or bliss, which may be obvious to you, but even more subtle is where I want you to become more familiar with. Because the subtleness is infinite.